Still trying. I'm still trying.
This is The Art of Giving Up, your podcast, my therapy session, where I invite you in to my mind, my views, and I hope that we can grow together. And as always, I'm your host, Steven, and I want to thank you, yes you, for joining me on this, my journey of self-discovery, of growth, and of hope. Well, I hope that the listeners that I have been keeping up, because we're going to continue last week's topic. You know, the last week's amazing episode, I at least like to be able to say I tried, where I kind of just talked about my feelings with success and my want, inability, need to do this kind of seriously, to kind of do what I can to make this thing here that I'm doing real. And I know I'm not ready. I know that I'm not ready. And I think that I've made large steps, large leaps in doing things like starting another podcast with someone, allowing someone into my space, having people on this podcast. But now it's time for me to really do, I think, what I've envisioned for this, which is me taking this recorder outside and asking people questions and getting opinions about things and kind of forming topics and having guests. You know, the baby steps, I think, are over. But the process, I think, is still going to take a while, because you don't just decide things. You don't just decide to make things happen. Now that I've decided to do this, I have to start making new mistakes. Start trying to figure out new things. It's time to learn anew. Where before I used to do the one thing, as I've said a million times, like sitting at my desk with a blanket over my head next to my Blue Yeti, whispering into the mic so that nobody can hear me. Till now, I don't know. I mean, it's not much better, but you know, I got my mics here, and I got my mixer over there. I got my computer over here. Wiki. You know, I got show notes on my iPad, and I got my phone there, which is not on mute, so if it rings, but I have no friends. But let's see if Collection Bureau calls. If they call, I will answer. Okay. Yeah, the baby steps are definitely over. And what I need really is kind of feedback. You know, I need my analytics to kind of show me what it is I'm doing wrong, what it is I'm doing right. My top listened episodes were like the WrestleMania episode, but I think it's because in the tags it was like Becky Lynch, and the Chester episode when Chester Bennington died, and you know, and there's definitely a smattering of some in there. When February was on the podcast, I think I actually had some very good ones, but that was probably due to the fact that I had not just another voice, but the voice of a woman, which I think is needed, actually. I think that's extremely important. And one of the worries that I have with the new podcast that I've started, that after I think the next 2 episodes, you're not going to see on this feed anymore. It's only going to continue to be the Art of Giving Up on this feed. Over on the Was That in Good Taste, which you can find on iTunes and Spotify and Google Play and all that, is that Chandler and I are men, and that's cool. And I don't mind. I'm comfortable being a cis male and all that, blah, 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 blah. I'm cool with myself, you know. But I realized that representation is important, and I talk about my feelings and my things, and I really had fun with Feb here on the podcast because, you know, as a person with admittedly a lot of trauma and a lot of history, I felt that we had, in addition to a rapport, I felt that having someone with a complicated voice, you know, Feb being a female identifying non-binary trans person, you know, definitely added some, you know, something different here. And that's really what life is about. It's about representation. It's about voices. And I want to hear not just my voice. And man, I love my voice, but I want to hear your voices. I want to hear the things that you have to say. I want to set it up in some way where we can connect, because my weaknesses have always really been that I don't shut up, and that I never really opened up, and I never really listened. I just walled myself off from everyone, you know, and I really want the things that I do like this to represent not just the 33-year-old black men who've lived in Harlem, the Bronx, and Brooklyn, and New York City. I want the voices, my voice on here, to, and everything, to be different, you know. That's one of the things about art, was in Good Taste, and definitely I want to make sure that I don't want it to be like, hey man, we're bros. You know, there's a million of that. You know, we need to have a new take, new views, new things, and we're growing that, and that's a new thing, and it's a different type of thing. So maybe that's going to be where it's at a little bit, but it's the beginning. Okay, it's the beginning of something new. And the same thing here, I really probably need a co-host, or I need more interaction with audiences so that I can have my thoughts challenged, because we might not need our thoughts challenged on a daily basis. It's not like I'm not one of those people who's like, I need every single thing of my positions to be challenged. You know, I don't. But, you know, it is definitely nice to have other opinions. And that's where you guys are going to come in. You folks, you peoples. The folks out there in internet land, I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to work as hard as I can to post every day on the Art of Giving Up Instagram. The Was That in Good Taste, because it's the Art of Giving Up, and Was That in Good Taste Facebook page, right there, that you can find on Facebook or on Twitter, which is DA Art of Giving Up, the Art of Giving Up, wiki, you know. And I'm definitely going to be engaging, and actively trying to build a community, actively trying to build something, and that's you. Without the audience, this is nothing, because the time of me just talking into a void, or maybe not a void, because there are people who listen, but I need this engagement. It's very important to what this is going to be. And so I definitely am going to do things like reach out to the talented people that I know, like, again, Alex Bondrev, because I say his name like 80 million times, or Grace King, or Ian Russo of the Stillwater Los Angeles podcast. You know, I know lots of talented people, but it's just the beginning. If you have any stories, if you have any opinions, you could always send me anonymous emails or non-anonymous emails at artofgivinguppodcast@gmail.com. I want to hear from you. I want to know your thoughts. How can I take these baby steps, and how can I make them into something more? I'm really excited to begin this journey. For all the false starts and all the fear and uncertainty, I am overjoyed at the idea that I'm ready for this. I'm overjoyed that after spending 6 months of the year with bronchitis and being unable to breathe and having like a rattle every time I talked into the mic, that I could speak into the mic, that I can express myself. I can think. I'm happy and positive now to have people that surround me who are supportive, and I am so lucky to have you, yes, you, as a listener. So I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, praying, that next week, this The Art of Giving Up is going to be something a little different. I'm hoping that by this time next week, this is going to be something new. In the meantime, happy Halloween! Yes, I know that Halloween is going to be tomorrow by the time you listen to this, if you listen to this. But happy Halloween, happy Samhain, happy, whatever. Just be happy. Live your dream. Alright? So, since I guess this is a Halloween episode, I should tell you a ghost story. Once upon a time, there was a young man. His name, we're going to call him Believe Finn. And his mother, Belephany. And they went and they were going to watch a movie called Blinterview, but a Blimpire. And Belephany was like, I'm going to make a cake that's shaped like a pumpkin. And Bleedin was like, yay, mommy, I want a cake. So the cake was made, and it was gorgeous. But its eyes always looked. Its eyes always see. And when they opened the oven and pulled out this spherical cake, and saw its eyes following them, they thought, oh, hell no. And the cake's mouth opened, and they said, what y'all think this is? And they fucking took a knife to the cake, and then they killed it to eat it. But it wasn't done in the middle. There you go. There's your Halloween story. Okay? I hope that you enjoyed that. That's what I'm here for. Alright. I'm sorry. I don't know what that was. But it was funny. So yeah. Thank you. And I hope that, everybody here, the tens of listeners, I hope you're all ready for a change. Because guess what? I know I am. Somebody once told me. Okay, no. I need to stop. Something's wrong with me. So yes, thank you. Yes, you for joining me on this episode of The Art of Giving Up. A place where I spill my guts and for some reason you listen. As always, I'm your host, Steven. Thank you. Thank you for making it through life and making it to another day. Thank you for being sure of yourself. Thank you for being amazing. Thank you for remembering that none of us are perfect. Humans are complicated. And that no matter how today goes, there's still chance tomorrow. I love you guys. So as always, peace.